Even the king of pop wasn't safe. 50 Cent exposes shocking ties between Oprah, Diddy, and a hidden industry agenda. 50 Cent is breaking his silence, claiming that not even legends like Michael Jackson were safe from the powerful forces controlling the music industry. He's now calling out Oprah Winfrey, suggesting her connections to Diddy and disturbing allegations tied to her school in Africa might be far darker than the public knows.
This is very important because throughout the years, black artists have been taken advantage of completely. And it's time now that we have to put a stop to this incredible injustice. It's been, the record companies really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists. Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola is the president of the record division. He is a mean, he's a racist, and he's very devilish.
We're listening to Mike right now. Obviously, you know, this is a really sad time right now, but we're celebrating his life. Your thoughts right now on the situation and the timing of this tragedy?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's just somebody that changed my life. You know what I'm saying? Somebody I'll always love.
Michael Jackson was the biggest name in the music industry, but he never became part of the gay mafia. Now people are saying Oprah was behind the abuse allegations against him. Even though his accusers were proven wrong in court and the case was dismissed, Oprah still created a fake documentary with them to try to bring Michael down. She knew she could never control him, and that's why she turned against him.
When you find out the person you love is a monster, like you sharing this information with me even about Michael Jackson, like, I don't want to believe you. I want to say it's the media. I want to say Oprah. Like, I want to say all of these things.
People were mad at Oprah.
I'm mad at Oprah.
You're mad at Oprah.
Yes. Because I think the young black boy who loved Michael Jackson wanted to be like, I don't want it to be true. I don't want, and I'm like, even, and that, again, it goes back to like, damn, are we just turning a blind eye because we had so much love for his talent and his ability?
Well, you said, you know, where's the Surviving Harvey Weinstein documentary?
Yeah.
And there are actually like 2 of those coming.
No, but in that statement, the reason why I made that, and it, like, people, like, you can read into it however you want to make.
Oprah disrespected Michael on national TV and accused him of trying to act white. Oprah knew Michael had a skin condition, but she still chose to insult him publicly. Every chance Oprah got, she used it to tear Michael down. She pretended to be his friend, laughing with him, but whenever she talked about him on TV, she always had something negative to say.
Just recently there was a story, and I know one of your attorneys held a news conference. There was a story about you wanting to have a little white boy play you in a Pepsi commercial.
That is so stupid. That's the most ridiculous, horrifying story I've ever heard. It's crazy. I mean, why? Number one, it's my face as a child in the commercial. Me when I was little. Why would I want a white child to play me? I'm a black American. I'm proud to be a black American. I am proud of my race. I am proud of who I am. I have a lot of pride in who I am and dignity. That's like you wanting an Oriental person to play you as a child. Does that make sense?
No.
So please, people, stop believing these
Michael,
horrifying stories.
Then let's go to...
Okay, number one, this is the situation. I have a skin disorder that destroys the pigmentation of the skin. Is something that I cannot help. Okay, but when people make up stories that I don't want to be who I am, it hurts me.
So it is.
It's a problem for me, okay? I can't control it, okay? But what about all the millions of people? Let's reverse it.
Okay.
What about all the millions of people who sit out in the sun to become darker, to become other than what they are? Nobody says nothing about that.
So when did this start? When did the color of your skin start to change?
Oh boy, sometime after Thriller, around Off the Wall Thriller. Sometime
and what did you think? I mean,
it's in my family. My father said it's on his side. I can't control it. I don't understand. I mean, it makes me very sad.
The disgusting allegations against Michael were first publicly discussed by Oprah. Remember, this was after everything had already been proven false. Oprah knew Michael was innocent, but she still wanted to damage his legacy. Why would you give a platform to someone who had already been proven to be a liar?
But for me, this moment transcends Michael Jackson. It is much bigger than any one person.
Oprah Winfrey opened up about her decision to speak to Michael Jackson's accusers for her After Neverland special when she stopped by The Daily Show on Wednesday night. Last month, Winfrey made headlines when she sat down with Michael Jackson accusers for Oprah Winfrey Presents After Neverland, which aired on HBO following the explosive documentary about the singer titled Leaving Neverland.
If they ever found out what we were doing, he and I would go to jail.
Winfrey said of her decision to do the special, "I haven't had that much hateration since I did the puppy episode with Ellen DeGeneres, aka the episode in which DeGeneres came out as gay." The talk show host continued, "But when I saw that documentary, I realized that a lot of people are going to be triggered by watching it, and a lot of people will not understand what the pattern is." Winfrey explained, "People call it molestation, but there is a big seducing that goes on, and that was important enough for me to take the hateration for."
Just listen to the way Oprah talks about Michael. She was best friends with some of the biggest sexual abusers in Hollywood and the music industry, yet she tried to destroy the legacy of the biggest name in pop simply because Michael didn't allow her to control him.
Well, she's been getting a lot of hate. Some of the tweet hate that Oprah's been getting, if karma is real, Oprah, after you are laid to rest, which is, I hope, many years from now, people will come out of the woodwork and lie on you, betray you, smear your name the way they're doing Michael Jackson, and the people that you let in your inner circle will lead the way. Oprah, you are disgusting, a cheap mercenary.
Ooh. The reason the idea of Michael Jackson or any major person committing sexual abuse against children challenges so many people is because in every family, you have to face that some things are not the way they appear to be. And what people need to accept in their own families is that people can do good things, they can be loving and helpful, and also be an abuser and a person who does bad things. Both can be true. And we are experiencing this paradox as a reckoning in our country every day in the news, where both things can be true.
Yeah, she's right about that. Both things can be true. You can have somebody who appears to be very nice in the front and be evil behind closed doors. You know that. And that's what she's saying.
Oprah's connection to Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, and Diddy is no secret. She was best friends with all three. There are even pictures of Oprah kissing Harvey. But as soon as Harvey was exposed, Oprah acted like she never knew him. This is someone who tried to destroy another person's career.
3 days after Oprah publicly supported victims of sexual assault in the wake of numerous allegations against Harvey Weinstein, singer Seal Instagrammed this meme. Showing Winfrey kissing the disgraced mogul, it reads, "When you have been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they all think you are the solution."
Please welcome Seal!
The 54-year-old who's appeared on Oprah's show captioned his post, "Oh, I forgot, that's right. You'd heard the rumors, but you had no idea he was actually serially assaulting young starry-eyed actresses. My bad." While Weinstein maintains his innocence, Seal hasn't commented further, and Oprah has not responded.
This moment is a really powerful time for everybody to get woke.
Fans have come to her defense, pointing out Winfrey is a sexual assault survivor. They also posted pics of Seal's ex, Heidi Klum, kissing Weinstein too.
Is it really just a coincidence that Oprah is always friends with sexual abusers, yet claims to stand against these crimes? Why were you friends with these guys in the first place? Harvey, Diddy, Epstein, every major sex abuser in Hollywood was best friends with Oprah.
Look already, but you haven't kind of spoken yet publicly about what's going on.
I think that this is, I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, whatever is the silver lining. And this is what I do know for sure. When something this major happens, when you have the fallout, 50 women coming forward, that it's a watershed moment. And what I do believe is actually happening is that, first of all, it's triggering a lot of unreleased pain, repressed anger, guilt, and suffering that a lot of women have had. I happened to be on set with several actresses the other day, and we were filming some things, and they were like, hadn't slept
over a period of 2 or 3 days, and I was like, what is that? They said, oh, you guys are suffering from PTSD.
And when you start talking about it out loud, too, we
everybody has a
it.
story. Everybody has a story. And so I think this is a watershed moment. I think this is a moment where no matter what business you work in, there have been women who not only had the disease to please, that's a part of it, but who felt that in order to keep my job, in order to keep my position, in order to keep moving forward, I've got to smile, I've got to look the other way, I got to pretend he didn't say that, I got to pretend he didn't touch me. I think those days are about to be over.
Are over. And if it happens to you back in the day, you would say, sometimes you're not even aware what he just said wasn't really inappropriate.
I know you've had a couple moments.
Where you just think, what did he just say?
Yes, I remember Gail had a moment when she came and said to me what somebody said to her was so inappropriate. I was like, oh my God, you can sue over that. But
no, and all I said was, what did you say? And then they repeated it.
Yes.
It's terrible. I just sat there typing with my 20-something-year-old.
You pretend you didn't hear it.
Yes.
You pretend it's okay. You pretend you didn't.
No, it isn't. You're right, Jeff. You're absolutely right.
But a lot of women have been silenced, and I know.
But I do think it's going to change.
Being a victim of child sexual abuse, that when you feel like you cannot be heard, and then other people start speaking out, it makes you feel like, oh, now I can speak out too.
Yeah. So, and you've been speaking about it for
years.
Oprah is a slave to money. She's part of the gay mafia that uses money to trap artists. The only reason she went after Michael was because she knew she couldn't control him. These predators trap other celebrities by offering them huge amounts of money, and if you accept, they own you. That's how Oprah and Diddy became billionaires. A few years ago, Oprah tried to convince Dave Chappelle to accept $50 million, but he realized it was just a trap. After Dave said no, Oprah made fun of him. Back then, no one understood why Dave did that, but now everything is becoming clear.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay.
When
you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see before, look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, they're trying to kill me.
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No.
No.
Not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I felt like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress.
Comedian Dave Chappelle left tens of millions of dollars on the table when he walked away from his popular Comedy Central show. A lot of people wondered what the hell was he thinking, and that's a quote. Chappelle says whether he was thinking. A lot of people ask that question. Chappelle says he had a crisis of conscience and stood up for his integrity as an artist. He explained to us how stepping out of the spotlight helped him avoid getting caught in a trap.
It's so much bigger than money, though, Dave. It's so much bigger than money.
Oh, no, it was bigger than money. But you know what? I watched one of these nature shows one time, and they were talking about how a bushman finds water when it's scarce. And they do what's called a salt trap. I didn't know this. Apparently, baboons love salt.
Okay.
So they put a lump of salt in a hole, and they wait for the baboon. The baboon comes, sticks his hand in the hole, grabs the salt. Salt makes his hand bigger, and he's trapped. He can't get his hand out. Now, if he's smart, all he does is let go of the salt. Baboon doesn't want to let go of the salt. Then the bushman just comes, takes the baboon, throws him in the cage, and gives him all the salt he wants. And then the baboon gets thirsty. The bushman lets him out the cage. The first place the baboon runs to is water. Bushman follows him, and they both drink to their fill. And in that analogy, I felt like the baboon. But I was smart enough to let go of the salt.
Isn't that a great analogy?
What an analogy!
Guys? I know. He's very, very thoughtful and very, very smart.
Oprah is a disgusting person, and there are serious abuse allegations against her. Minors were allegedly being abused at Oprah's school, the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa, back in 2007 and again in 2009. Reports say that 12 and 13-year-old girls at her school were being sexually harassed by teachers that Oprah hired. Some of these girls also disappeared, and there are rumors that she is actually selling them to be used by Hollywood elites.
The trial of a former dormitory matron charged with abusing 6 students at Oprah Winfrey's School for Girls in South Africa is resuming. Prosecutors say former dorm matron Tina Virginia Makopo tried to kiss and fondle the girls. She's also accused of kicking and hitting some of them. Makopo pleaded innocent to 14 charges of indecent assault and criminal injury in South Africa. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, the ex-headmistress of the $40 million school is suing Winfrey for defamation. The suit claims someone would conclude from Winfrey's comments that the school employee knew of the alleged abuse and was actively involved in covering it up.
I was, needless to say, devastated and really shaken to my core.
Winfrey said she was disappointed in the former headmistress. The TV talk show host also made comments about students who felt there was an atmosphere of repression at the school.
And I spoke to all the girls personally, and I encouraged all of them, any of them who had actually been harmed, to please come forward.
Gene Deal has talked about how all of these ringleaders were hanging out together and having secret meetings. Interview 10. Since Diddy's arrest, even big-name celebrities like Tom Hanks and Will Smith have started to publicly distance themselves from him. Will Smith wasn't even named in any of the lawsuits against Diddy. So why did he release a statement saying he had nothing to do with Diddy? Sexual abuse is rampant in Hollywood, and if everyone involved in sex trafficking was sent to jail, half the industry would be locked up.
Yeah, because you know he was running with Oprah and them. He was running with that whole crew. Weinstein, Oprah, Epstein, he was running with that whole crew. They want to know how we're going to do it, how the public is going to take him. Is the public going to let him back in? And the public is not. The public is already canceling him. I don't believe the industry has canceled him yet. All those people who went to those Diddy parties, not one of them had came out and denounced what he has done. I haven't heard one of them. I have not heard one person denounce, well, man, let God handle it. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here with that. If that was your daughter, would you let God handle it? All those people, they ain't denounced him. They ain't definitely, they can't come forward and say, yo, I support him. Because it would mess up their brand. It would mess up their brand. Jay-Z, we the only one could call each other Sean. Jay is the only one could call me Sean. I'm the only one could call him Sean. Get the hell out of here. If that ain't no fun boy stuff. But you ain't had not one person, brother, not one person sit there, denounce what he did, or come forward and say, I support him.
50 Cent says all the elites in Hollywood knew what Diddy was doing. 50 knew too, and that's why he never went to those parties. In a recent interview on the Enthusiast podcast with Lincoln Salazar, 50 said he was never down with what happened at Diddy's place. That's why 50 was never afraid of getting caught. He knew he was never involved in those parties, and there's nothing in his past his enemies can use against him.
The idea that there are sexual predators in power, not just in Hollywood, I think in all across any place there's a boss with underlings in any corporation or any industry, you have a type of sexual politics that goes on that can slide in between appropriate ethics and decorum to inappropriate behavior to the point of harassment and sexual predatory behavior.
Well, I mean, I think people understand that, but the larger question is there a culture of complicity in Hollywood where women are afraid to speak up because they'll be blacklisted, men are afraid to speak up because, Either they're out of the same fear, or they just think, well, this is the way the system works.
I think there are people that say, hey, this is how it works, pure and simple, and this is why I got into it, and this is why I have power. This is how it works, and you have to understand that. That does not carry the day. Complicity is also complicity. The people who know, well, look, this is how we do business, and that's what it's got to be done. I'm sorry it's like that. So beware. That's also present, without a doubt, but it does not carry the day. There's also people that were afraid to speak out, who were victims, that did not go forward, that signed, negotiated settlement deals of which a non-disclosure agreement was part and parcel to it. That also does not carry the day.
But the world we're in right now, it's really hard for y'all to like discern what's real and what's true, you know? And I've been seeing y'all memes and stuff. People be making memes. I see the memes. I see them now. Some of that stuff is funny. Some of it's funny. But I haven't addressed any of this publicly, but I just want to say this very clearly. I don't have to do with Puffy, so y'all can stop all them memes. Stop all of that. I ain't been nowhere near no damn freak off. Listen, I do enough of my own. Don't be putting me in other people's. I ain't been nowhere near that, man. I ain't did none of that stupid. So, whenever y'all hear it, if somebody say that, it's a damn lie. I don't even like baby oil. That's not funny. but I haven't said that publicly. I just said y'all the first time. I usually don't respond to dumb stuff because it's like people. It's so many things people say, so much stuff. But you know that one, it was your memes was doing too much. Y'all was having me mad.